Imagine coughing up literal diamonds after a really grueling day at work, and then going home to decompress over a bowl of just, like, plain white rice.
Right. It's such an incredible visual.
It really is. So today, for you listening, we are taking a deep dive into the bizarre, totally contradictory survival mechanisms of, well, basically the most heavily scrutinized woman on Earth.
Yeah, we're looking at how a person constructs a public persona and attempts to protect her private self.
Right. And somehow stays grounded when she is thrust into the absolute center of the cultural universe.
It really is the ultimate case study in navigating a magnifying glass.
Oh, boy.
And we have a fascinating stack of interviews today that serve as like a real-time time-lapse of megastardom for you guys.
Yeah, we're pulling from 4 distinct eras. Right?
Exactly. We have a 1999 sit-down with Deanie Petty. This is right as her first single went to #1.
Oh, wow.
Then an early 2000s UK appearance on The Frank Skinner Show, plus a joint interview with Kevin Federline on The Ellen Show.
That one is so revealing.
It really is. And finally, a very reflective Vegas-era conversation on The Jonathan Ross Show.
Right. And what we really want to do here is figure out the architecture of her survival.
Yeah, because it's so complex.
It is. Because to understand the massive corporate machine her life eventually became, I think we have to start with the raw and hot ambition that built the foundation.
Absolutely.
Let's look at that 1999 Deanie Petty interview. She is just 17 years old.
Just a kid.
Literally just a kid. And honestly, what immediately jumps out at you isn't just the talent. It's this unshakable, almost startling confidence.
Yeah, she has these very polite Southern manners.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's saying, yes, ma'am. But underneath that sweetness, she is firmly telling the host that this level of success was always her destiny.
What's fascinating here is the sheer velocity of the drive she possessed before the industry ever truly got its hooks into her.
Right, because everyone assumes she was pushed.
Exactly. There's this common narrative that she was pushed into this by stage parents, but the reality presented in these sources is that she was the engine.
Yeah, she talks about how she had been singing since she was a baby of 5 or 6, driving her mom crazy.
Constantly performing in front of the television.
And doing full routines with her friends at recess.
Right, just on the school playground.
I mean, and then she actually auditions for the Mickey Mouse Club at age 8. She goes with a pack of 6 girls, and she gets rejected purely because she is too young.
But look at the response to that rejection, right? Instead of going back to Louisiana and giving up, she goes to a performing arts school in New York.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She spends years honing her craft and finally lands the role at age 11.
So she just wouldn't take no for an answer.
Exactly. And by the time we see her at 17, she is already co-writing her own music.
Like the B-side track? I'm so curious.
Yeah, I'm so curious. And her advice to insecure teens at the time is simply to find your passion and live it out.
She makes the pursuit of global fame sound as natural as breathing.
She really does.
Okay, let's unpack this. It's like looking at the passionate teenage founder of a tech startup.
Oh, that's a great comparison.
Right. At 17, she is the CEO of Britney Inc., running on pure adrenaline and playground dreams.
Yeah, just raw energy.
But if we fast forward just a few years to her early 20s on The Frank Skinner Show, Britney Inc. has mutated into this massive, bloated corporate entity.
The scale of her fame at that point is completely absurd.
She tells Skinner she is traveling with a daily entourage of 20 to 30 people.
And she's getting free clothes thrown at her from Versace.
Yeah, and the staggering influx of luxury items from complete strangers.
She casually mentions that someone utterly out of the blue called her security guard simply because the guard knows about the car business and they just gave her a free Porsche.
Wait, a free Porsche?
Yes. But she keeps in Los Angeles, by the way, because her Mercedes stays in Louisiana.
That is just wild.
Yeah.
But I want to push back on the narrative around that excess for a second.
Okay, sure.
Everyone always criticizes a 30-person entourage as ridiculous Hollywood diva behavior. But isn't a team that size actually a necessary security apparatus?
I mean, you have a point.
You can't just walk to the grocery store to buy milk when millions of people are actively tracking your movements.
Right.
So does an entourage of 30 people isolate a star? Or is it literally the only physical barrier preventing them from being crushed by the weight of the industry?
That is the exact tension she is wrestling with in her early 20s.
Yeah.
The entourage is a shield, yes, but a shield that heavy eventually restricts your oxygen.
It traps you.
Exactly. The childhood drive that started at school recess has evolved into this incredibly complex, high-stakes ecosystem.
And what she realizes is that she has to consciously fight to remain grounded within it.
She explicitly tells Frank Skinner about the importance of just getting the keys to her own car in LA and driving herself.
It's a micro-rebellion.
Right. She needs to prove to herself that she can still function independently of the 30-person machine.
But getting the keys to your own car doesn't solve the core issue.
No, it doesn't.
Because when that 30-person team steps back, it just creates a vacuum that the paparazzi immediately fill.
Instantly.
That independent drive to the store suddenly becomes a highly documented media event.
Which forces us to look at how she navigated that total loss of privacy.
And her strategies for fighting back against the media were entirely unexpected.
They really were. If we look at the Ellen Show interview, the one where she is appearing with Kevin Federline, the dynamic of their relationship completely flips the script on what the tabloids were reporting.
Oh, completely. The media painted this picture, but she was actually the one who approached him at Joseph's nightclub on a Monday night.
Yeah, just walking up and saying, "Hey, how you doing?"
Right. And then she was the one who proposed to him.
Which is so funny because he only slapped the proposal down initially.
Wait, he said no.
Yeah, he felt, in his words, the man's supposed to get on one knee.
Oh my gosh.
But then he turns around and asks her 5 minutes later.
That's hilarious. Here's where it gets really interesting, though. To deal with the relentless paparazzi, they created their own reality show, Chaotic.
Right, yes.
And her philosophy behind it was completely counterintuitive.
Yeah, instead of putting up a massive wall to hide behind, she decided to just let people in.
She thought, let's show them we have nothing to hide.
Which, I mean, I have to say, feels a bit naive in hindsight.
I was just going to say that. It's like feeding a bear to make it go away.
Exactly. Handing a camera to your hairdresser on tour and filming your own private moments, doesn't that just legitimize the media's intrusion?
Right. If you volunteer your private life to the public, do you ever actually satisfy the tabloids? Or does it just lower the barrier to entry and make the public hungrier?
Well, from a psychological standpoint, she was operating under the illusion of control.
Oh, I see.
You have to remember how intensely the media was twisting her narrative at this time.
Oh, they were brutal.
In the Frank Skinner interview, she talks about how deeply she regretted making her famous statement about remaining a virgin until marriage.
Because it became the only thing anyone ever asked her about.
Right. It completely overshadowed her art.
She also had to clarify a quote where the media claimed she called her older fans creepy.
Yes. She had to explain on national television that she wasn't talking about all 40-year-olds.
She explicitly says she loves Mick Jagger.
Right. She was just talking about one specific man who was aggressively getting in her face.
So she is constantly playing defense against a media machine that operates on pure sensationalism.
Exactly. So by creating Chaotic and holding the camera herself, she was attempting to reclaim her own narrative.
Like, if I control the lens, I hold the power.
Yes. She thought that if she showed the mundane reality of her life, the tabloids would realize she was just a normal person and lose interest.
But parasocial dynamics don't work that way.
No, they don't. The machine just consumes whatever access you give it and demands more.
Which means reality TV and media corrections completely fail as a defense mechanism.
Completely fail.
So, if reasoning with the public doesn't work, what is the backup plan? How does she protect herself when the walls come down?
Well, she does it by building a highly specialized armor.
Okay.
She creates this intense physical and mental separation between Britney the person and Britney the performer.
And if we look at her reflections on the Jonathan Ross show, the actual physical toll of wearing that armor is astonishing.
It really is. The physical suffering she endured for the sake of the performance is a recurring theme that gets completely masked by the glamour.
Wait, I have to challenge this concept of the armor for a second.
All right, go for it.
Because if she hates the media intrusion and just wants to be left alone, why is she wearing outfits that are scientifically designed to draw the maximum amount of attention?
That's a fair question.
I mean, she casually mentions to Jonathan Ross that for the Toxic music video, she had actual diamonds hand-glued directly onto her bare skin.
Yeah, that sounded so painful.
And she literally coughed up diamonds afterward. Isn't coughing up a highly restrictive, incredibly flashy costume just begging for the spotlight she claims to hate?
This raises an important question, but it seems contradictory until you think about it as a diver's pressure suit.
A pressure suit.
Yeah, if you are going to the bottom of the ocean, you have to wear a suit that is heavy, restrictive, and incredibly uncomfortable to wear.
Okay, I'm tracking.
But it is the only mechanism that stops the crushing atmospheric pressure from destroying the person inside. The stage persona is her pressure suit.
Wow, that makes perfect sense.
She talks about the iconic red latex suit from the Oops, I Did It Again video.
Oh, everyone knows that suit.
Right. Well, it was so incredibly hot and suffocating inside that material that a crew member had the specific job of constantly pouring powder inside the suit just so it wouldn't fuse to her skin.
That sounds like a nightmare.
The armor hurts, but it protects the vulnerable human underneath.
And we see that biological reality clash with the pop imagery perfectly during the legendary MTV Video Music Awards performance.
The one with the live python.
Yes. We all know the iconic image of her holding that massive snake. But what the Jonathan Ross interview reveals is the actual biology behind that image.
Right. During rehearsals, her body was in a state of total rejection.
She admits she broke out in full-body stress hives.
But the performer pushed through it. She says she was running purely on adrenaline.
And during the actual live broadcast, when she goes to hand the snake back, the snake hisses, rears its head right into her face, and flicks its tongue at her.
And the armor holds.
It totally holds. She doesn't flinch. She just finishes the routine.
She curates this musical persona so carefully to maintain that shield.
She talks about tweaking the arrangement of Baby One More Time on her tours just to keep it creatively interesting for herself.
Yeah, and she creates this highly stylized vocal technique, that famous feline vocal fry on the word me in the song Overprotected.
Yes. She even settles a debate about the song I'm a Slave for You.
Right, the whispering part in the background.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She clarifies that she is actually whispering, get it, even though everyone, including Frank Skinner, thought she was whispering, kitty, kitty.
All of these details point to how she heavily compartmentalizes her entire existence.
So interesting.
She explicitly tells Jonathan Ross that being on stage is a strict character change. It requires a deliberate mental adjustment to go to that place.
The stage persona takes the hits.
Exactly. It wears the hot latex, it gets the hives from the snake, it allows the real woman underneath to survive the most extreme environments.
And those environments are extreme. She talks about her Vegas residency, doing these high-energy shows 3 nights a week.
Yeah.
And she reveals that the audience was often so heavily intoxicated that during one show, she got a massive contact high just from the strong weed smoke drifting up to the stage.
That is insane.
She says she hadn't smoked since she was 17, and it hit her so hard she physically couldn't function.
She literally had to leave the stage, right?
Yes. She told them, I can't do it anymore. Meanwhile, when the show ends, there are wild, drug-heavy, private parties happening all around her in Vegas.
And she completely avoids them.
Completely.
Because the Vegas party scene isn't who she actually is. The armor stays on stage.
Right.
When she wants to go out into the world and just be a normal person, her disguise isn't elaborate. She says it is simply putting on a hat.
Just got hat.
Yeah. She claims it works perfectly, that she can just go shopping or walk her dog and enter a state of denial about her fame.
Which brings us to this incredible irony.
Oh, yeah.
We see her in these hypersexualized, diamond-encrusted, perilous stage setups. But when Frank Skinner brings up her teen movie, Crossroads,
Classic.
truly, she reveals her most comfortable moment on screen was a scene where she's just dancing around her bedroom in oversized pink granny panties.
That's exactly what she called them.
She felt more at home in those than in the Versace gowns.
Which naturally leads to the ultimate question, right? When the diver's pressure suit comes off, when the glued-on diamonds are removed, and the reality TV cameras are shut down, who is the person actually left underneath?
By her own absolute insistence, she is, boring.
Boring.
She tells Jonathan Ross, quote, I'm honestly kind of boring.
And when you look at her actual tastes, you really start to believe her.
Totally. I mean, think about your own life. When you come home after an incredibly stressful week at your job, you probably just want to put on sweatpants, order some takeout, and watch a movie.
Right.
Now multiply that stress by 1 billion. In a world where she is handed Porsches, what does she actually crave?
She loves white rice.
She loves jambalaya.
She likes playing tennis, though she clarifies she hates running.
And her favorite movie is Kingsman, and not for any deep cinematic or artistic reason.
No, simply because she likes the rock song that plays at the very beginning of the film.
It's just so relatable.
You see this deep pragmatism even in her spiritual life. She maintains a prayer journal.
Oh.
But the reason she started writing her prayers down at night wasn't for some grand theological documentation.
It was literally just so she wouldn't fall asleep while trying to say them out loud in bed.
It's incredibly practical.
And her approach to motherhood is the ultimate grounding mechanism.
Definitely.
On The Ellen Show, she talks about scaling back her intense workout routine. She goes from doing 1,000 sit-ups a day, which is just physically mind-boggling,
Serious.
to working out every other day while pregnant, and happily admitting she is just constantly craving Wendy's.
And then Ellen gives her this absolutely absurd, pimped-out Silver Cross baby pram.
The one with a Sony DVD player built right into it.
Yes, so the baby can watch movies while being pushed.
You just see this hilarious collision of extreme Hollywood excess being handed to a woman who just wants a double cheeseburger.
It perfectly highlights the disconnect between the industry's perception of her and her actual reality.
Yeah.
Years later on the Jonathan Ross show, we see how she's raising her two sons, who are 10 and 11 at the time.
Right.
She's throwing them Pokemon parties. She talks about her 11-year-old son, who is an aspiring DJ with his own laser lights set up at the house.
And he listens to her new unreleased tracks and bluntly tells her, "Mom, this isn't really good."
Yeah.
And she respects his ear. The biggest pop star in the world taking musical critique from an 11-year-old.
It's so sweet.
And her dating life reflects this exact same craving for simple normalcy.
Yeah, when Frank Skinner asks us about her famous romance with Justin Timberlake, she doesn't talk about red carpets.
She describes re-meeting him at a radio show when he was doing promo for NSYNC.
He just knocked on her dressing room door, and she says it gave her butterflies.
And she takes a moment on that show to publicly debunk this ridiculous tabloid rumor.
Oh, the boxer rumor.
Yeah, that Justin gave her a portrait of himself wearing leopard skin boxers for her birthday.
But then you look at her later dating life, and the struggle to find that normalcy is highly relatable.
Oh my gosh, yes.
She tells Jonathan Ross about a friend setting her up on a blind date. She goes to meet the guy, takes one look at him, decides he looked like a lizard, and immediately turns around and leaves.
She just walks out.
She explicitly states she is not looking for men right now because she hates the mind games guys play.
The waiting to call back, the posturing.
Right. She declares she is perfectly fine and happy with the way she is.
So what does this all mean? If we look at the totality of this time lapse, what does this mean for you listening right now?
Yeah.
We have a woman who commands millions, who receives luxury cars from strangers, whose stage outfits literally define cultural eras.
Yet her ultimate desires are eating a bowl of rice, watching an action movie, and avoiding lizard men on blind dates.
In a world of such extreme excess and artificiality, is Britney's relentless pursuit of just being boring actually her most rebellious act?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it absolutely is. Clinging to the mundane isn't a lack of imagination. It is her ultimate survival tool. It proves that the foundation of normalcy she built growing up in Louisiana never truly left her.
The boring girl who loves jambalaya is the heavy anchor that keeps the superstar in the diamond pressure suit from floating away into the stratosphere completely. It really is a remarkable journey you've taken with us today on this deep dive.
It really is.
We started with a 17-year-old who looked Dini Petty in the eye and said fame was her destiny.
We watched her navigate an entourage of 30 people and a reality show meant to keep the paparazzi at bay.
We saw her wrap herself in diamond armor and literally break out in hives to deliver the perfect performance.
And finally, we found a grounded mother who just wants to put on a hat and walk her dog in peace.
And while you may not have photographers hiding in your bushes or live pythons handed to you at your office, the mechanism here is universal.
Yeah, absolutely.
We all have to balance the public performances we put on at our jobs or in society with the private, authentic, sometimes beautifully boring selves we are behind closed doors.
And as we wrap up, there's one final thought I want to leave you with, drawing on a very specific moment from her early timeline.
Okay, what is it?
Remember that when she was 8 years old, she auditioned for the Mickey Mouse Club with that pack of friends, and she was rejected.
Right.
She didn't get the part. Because of that failure, she was forced to go back home to Louisiana and live a completely normal life.
She attended a regular elementary school until the 6th grade.
Exactly, before she finally landed the role at age 11.
Right.
I want you to ask yourself, if she had gotten that job at age 8 and completely bypassed those last few crucial years of a normal childhood, would she have developed the grounded foundation necessary to survive the intense, contact-high, paparazzi-fueled madness of her Vegas years? Or was that early, painful rejection actually the anchor that saved her?